Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the brain tools that you can use to feel, look, and do your absolute best. And folks, the tools that I'm bringing to you, they are based in neuroscience research, but also I connect that neuroscience research to research and discoveries and data and practices from a lot of other different sciences, from psychology, nutrition, integrative health, fitness, different departments of human physiology and performance, and again, brain body data and research to help you learn how to own your brain, how to be in a driver's seat of your brain so you make great decisions, so you can use all your talents and you can be as creative, as focused, as motivated as you'd like to be and as you need to be to build the exact life that you need to build. And guys, all of our dreams, they will require us to work on ourselves. And the better control we have of our brain, knowing how to operate it to meet our goals, the easier it is gonna go through life, building that life experience that we desire. Today, folks, as you guessed, we are talking about high energy lifestyle. And we are coming to this concept of high energy lifestyle from the perspective of optimization of your physical energy. That is what your body does. And how your cells produce energy, and also from the perspective of your mental energy, and that being about how you use your nervous system, allowing it to work more effectively and efficiently. So with the same resources, you can accomplish more and still feel like you have fuel in the tank. I hear from a lot of people who I talk to online about productivity and about focus and about motivation. What are some problems that people experience? And mental fatigue is definitely a huge factor. People tell me that, well, I have a job, but then I come back home and I'd like to do some studies, or I'd like to work on my side business, but I feel like I don't have it in me. Like I don't have the energy, or my brain is dead and I can't really think all that much. I can't think about my business or about learning new skills that I need to acquire to either move my career or build new business. And the reason is, guys, we have a lot of amazing leaders who build empires in all different domains of human endeavors, right? And very often, like you take Tony Robbins, he manages, I don't know, probably like hundreds of companies. And how does he do that? Well, he does that by using his time and his mental and physical resources more effectively. It's not that he has more, even though if, for example, we take two people who one of them takes care of their health and one of them doesn't, then of course the one who does has more physical and mental resources. But if we take initial state, most of the leaders, entrepreneurs, business people, leaders in all areas of human endeavors, they do not have more, but they learn how to use that, what they have, more effectively. And of course, then they delegate and hire people, etc. But first, they had to figure out how to use themselves more effectively so they accomplish more and they get success. And today on this podcast, you can get the foundational knowledge backed by science research of how to use your resources more effectively, your physical resources and your mental resources. And it all has to do with reorganizing your lifestyle and how you approach your work. So let's start with physical resources. There are three foundational things that I find a lot of people get wrong. They overcomplicate those things, and they also underestimate the importance of those foundational things. Number one, your sleep. And As new research coming out, check out Andrew Huberman, famous neuroscientist from Stanford. Check out his recent conversation with some top sleep scientist, neuroscience researcher. So they talked about how sleep is the foundation of your daily productivity, number one. But they also talked that not just duration matters, or how many hours you sleep, not just the quality of that sleep matters, like how many times you wake up, how deep is your sleep, etc. But also the schedule of that sleep matters for the quality of that sleep and what your brain and your body are able to accomplish during that sleep. So the basic idea there, if you go to bed on different schedules every other days, and by different schedules we mean your going to bed time is plus 2 or 3 hours, usually not minus, but yeah, plus minus 2-3 hours. Ideally, you need to go to bed on the same time, maybe 30 minutes plus minus. And the reason for that is there are certain jobs that your brain and your body schedule, so to speak, that cannot happen if you go to bed on a different schedule. And the reason why they cannot happen is because your brain tracks the time by when you do things. And your whole body is optimized for timing. So if you have your meals on the same time, your body is more efficient and absorbing, digesting, breaking down, assimilating nutrients. If your eating time is all over the place, then your body is not that efficient. But also the same with sleep. So during that conversation, Andrew Huberman and the sleep researcher, they talk about how, for example, the major producing timing for growth hormone happens early in the night. And so in the first couple of cycles, and if you don't go to bed on the same time, your brain, your body misses that opportunity and you never get that huge chunk of growth hormone release. Or for example, they also talk about the fact that there is this cleaning of brain that is happening at night in our lymphatic system, right? The brain gray matter shrinks and there is this like whole brushing out of stuff happening, but that also is on the schedule and it happens earlier in the night. And so if you miss that window of opportunity in your sleep cycle and you go to bed 2 hours later, that does not happen that effectively. And you might start accumulating stuff that later in life leads to dementia and Alzheimer. Also, your rapid eye movement sleep suffers. That's where your mental health is taken care of, right? So sleep timing is important. And why I'm talking about it here in high energy lifestyle, well, sleep is the foundation of your daily energy. And if your brain is not able to do major jobs during the night effectively because your sleep time is all over the place, what's going to happen is you're going to have less resources available for things to do and you're going to have less energy, and also even things like your cravings for processed foods and your blood sugar regulation are going to be compromised and going to be worse. And again, that is confirmed by research, and it's not a question whether that's going to happen to you or not. It will. So the first aspect of high energy lifestyle is go to bed, schedule 8 hours in bed without scrolling, without any work, and try to sleep for those 8 hours to your best ability. And it has to happen on the same schedule. Again, plus minus 30 minutes. For me, it's 9 to 5, at night. Some people think about, 9 to 5 as job schedule. For me, it's 9 to 5, I sleep. And I am so religious about my sleep. The only reason why I would change my sleep time, it has to be something super important, right? Other than that, I always stick with the rule, like everything has to be scheduled that way. So I sleep on the same schedule. And 9 to 5, because I just feel better that way when I wake up at 5. But the main point here, your sleep schedule really does matter. And so if you simply want to optimize your lifestyle for high energy, the first thing you gotta do is schedule 8 hours of sleep and stick to the same schedule. And it doesn't have to be early, but it has to be on the same time. So if you go to bed at 12 a.m., then go to bed at 12 a.m. every single night. The second aspect of high energy lifestyle is simplifying your nutrition. Your sleep and your nutrition are like those foundational things that if you don't get them right in a simple way, they're gonna steal your energy, they're gonna compromise your health, they're gonna compromise your performance, everything gonna go worse. Even your focus, even your motivation, they all depend on those things, on your sleep, appropriately scheduled, and your meals. And when it comes to nutrition, the first simple thing you can do is the same thing. Schedule your meals. Let's say you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Have them on the same time. Eliminate processed foods. And by processed foods, we mean highly processed foods with added sugars, added fats, powdered, liquidized, whatever that doesn't really resemble all that much whole food. So here, that's what we mean by processed food, even though all food we eat in some ways processed. So 3 meals, let's say, on the same schedule. You can have 3, you can have 4 meals, but they gotta happen on the same schedule. And non-processed foods, otherwise, processed foods will make your blood sugar regulate, it will most probably increase inflammation, and all of that will decrease your energy. And another thing, don't think about your meals. Have the same food for your meals. Decide what those are, and for the next month, just have the same stuff. Meaning, it doesn't have to be exact same stuff, but it has to be like if you have for breakfast some sort of protein and maybe some sort of, oatmeal, maybe you have veggies, whatever that might be. Have the same categories of food and don't make decisions. Make all decisions in advance, simplify your meals, have them on the same schedule. And that has to do with the fact that then your body gets efficient with digesting, metabolizing that food because of the timing and because of the simplicity of those foods. And also you less make decisions. And we're going to talk about less decisions in a little bit. But the second pillar of high energy lifestyle is have your food on the same schedule, 3 meals a day, let's say, the same schedule, unprocessed foods, and don't make any decisions about your meals. Make it once and stick with it for the next months. And number 3, have a movement lifestyle. Now, when it comes to workouts, a lot of people really complicate it. They think, now I have to figure out when I need to work out for an hour or maybe even more. Sometimes people think. No, to begin with, to build consistency, you gotta make it simple. And what researchers say, actually, I interviewed some time ago Joan Vernikas. She is a former director of life sciences department at NASA. And so what they were researching different movement protocols to prevent muscle and bone density loss. They were interested in that because astronauts on space station, they don't have gravity, and that and gravity and lack of movement are very similar. And so they were figuring out the best protocol of movement to avoid perhaps having some sort of device that would stimulate muscle or some other organs that sense gravity to prevent that bone density loss, muscle loss that for long-term health really not great, especially when it comes to bone density. So they were trying to figure that out, and they were doing a lot of experiments with people here on Earth. They would make them not move for several days. Basically, they would just lay in bed and food was provided to them, and they did their stuff with toilet, and they would lose certain amount of muscle mass, mostly not so much bone density at this condition and duration. And what they found, to rebuild that and to prevent that muscle loss, all they had to do is every 30 minutes do some movement. And that movement didn't have to be anything. They would just have to get up every 30 minutes or maybe do a little walk or do a couple of squats. With some people, they actually restored their mobility. There was another part of the study just by making them, they didn't walk that well. They were on the older side of population. And they made them get up from their wheelchair every 30 minutes. And by the end of, I think it was several weeks, what happened is a lot of people restored their mobility to the point that they didn't need a wheelchair anymore to support themselves. Now, they were not paralyzed or anything. It's just their mobility, their muscle mass was really in a bad state. And so what you can do, and the protocols that are recommended because of that research, and actually a lot of wearables like maybe Fitbits or Apple Watch, they use the same research, I believe. So what you can do to prevent the loss of energy, the loss of function, to improve your blood sugar metabolism, to improve all of your metabolical biomarkers, is every 30 minutes you do something. If you work on your computer, like a lot of us do these days, what you do is every 30 minutes you get up, and what I do 5 squats or 5 burpees, or I might go, drink a glass of water, but I literally get off my chair and I do a few squats, a few burpees, and that's about it. That's all you need, folks. So start with those 30 minutes bouts, and that's it. Forget about workouts, forget about going to the gym, forget about crazy cardio. Just do that for months. That also increases your physical energy, because every time you move, there is waste byproducts of cellular metabolism that is removed, because lymphatic system, not the circulatory system that our heart pumps, the lymphatic system that is in charge of removing stuff, like the byproducts, again, of cellular metabolism, the garbage out, it actually only can be activated and boosted by movement, and I believe some breathing patterns. But so you need to move to take the garbage out. You also need to move to make your cells better at creating energy by delivering nutrients, by pumping your blood, by delivering oxygen. And in order to create energy, your cells do need that oxygen and do need that energy and different nutrients. So to create energy, you need some nutrients, you need some fuel, and then you need some oxygen. And for that to be delivered, you need blood circulation to be good. And for that, you need to move. And that's how also you can add movement to the energy production. The more you move, the better your cells are at producing energy. And the way you do it in a simple way, just like they did at NASA, just do some movements every 30 minutes. So those are 3 pillars on a physical side of high energy lifestyle. You schedule your 8 hours of sleep, same time every night. Doesn't have to be a perfect schedule, but it has to be the same, because that's the only way your brain, your body can schedule things, by you doing things on the same time. Then we have second, simplify your nutrition, 3 meals a day, same foods, same time, unprocessed foods. Processed foods will contribute to lower energy state. So you'll be fighting sleepiness, fatigue, and sometimes even anxiety because of increased inflammation, right? So same food, same schedule, unprocessed food. And number 3, move every 30 minutes, because that will help your cells to get better at making energy. And plus, it will improve a lot of other metabolic biomarkers. So these are the 3 pillars of high energy lifestyle. As you can see, they're very, very simple, folks, on a physical side. And now let's get to the cognitive side. And by cognitive side, we mean optimizing your workflow and your thinking, your decision-making process, so you use less of the energy and resources of your nervous system. Brain is a part of your, probably the major part of your central nervous system. And so you can use your brain in a way, just like you can use your body in a way that is more effective and that is less effective. So let's talk about the ways that are more effective. Number 1, making less decisions, because making conscious decisions take more resources. It literally takes more fuel. Your brain has to work harder. That's why actually your brain is so good at creating habits and habituating stuff to put it on autopilot, because making conscious decisions takes quite a lot of resources. Your brain also cannot multitask. So you have to focus, and focus requires more energy and more resources, right? So making more decisions will take more energy. And the way you make that more effective, you make less decisions for the things that don't matter. Mark Zuckerberg, for example, there's also Steve Jobs. I think quite a few people who are higher up there taking care of a lot of things. They don't make decisions about their clothes, their food. Like Mark Zuckerberg, at least he used to wear when he was, in the building stage, really busy. He used to wear the same stuff because there was quite good research even back then that the more decisions you make, the less of energy you have available. This mental fatigue settles in faster. And so if you are, especially females, girls, women, if you're making decisions every single day about what to wear, what your makeup is going to look like, what you're going to do with your hair, and if you make those decisions several times a day, guess what? You're going to use all that mental talent and power for shit that doesn't matter and doesn't add to the quality of your life. Well, you might think, well, it adds because then I feel good about myself. Well, that's the only thing you're going to get. You're going to feel good about your looks, and that's it. All your good decisions, you're going to spend on that. And you kind of have to prioritize, right? Guys are a little bit luckier in that department. It is okay for the guy to look, just decent. Women usually put so much more effort into that, into their appearance and worrying about their appearance. Girls, this eats up a lot of your talent and potential. So simplify the stuff as much as possible. I was talking to a businessman in his 70s here in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and his idea about simplification is very simple. He also, has the same food schedule. He doesn't, think a lot about his clothing, but also to prevent all kinds of possible decision making that can come up during the day, he wakes up, schedules his days, and the decisions about what he's going to do on that day are made. That's it. He then thinks about the important stuff that for him is investing and figuring out financial markets, etc. So the idea is the less decisions you spend on the unnecessary stuff, the more brain power you have on the stuff that matters. And when it comes to simplifying your decisions, there are a few frameworks that you can think about. Scheduling your time and scheduling the things that you do and do them on the same time every single week. For example, have your routines, right? That's where routines really help. Another thing that you can do to start simplifying your decisions, have a wardrobe that you wear for different occasions and stick with that, right? Have something to wear when you exercise, when you go to work, when you go, for social gatherings, and make decisions, and that's it. The same about your hair, the same about your makeup, unless it's once, one kind of occasion, like somebody's wedding or something really important. Have all the decisions made in advance about your wardrobe, about your food. Also decisions like, do I go out at night on Saturday and Sunday night, or I don't? I have a decision. Once a week, I might allow myself to go out and change my sleeping time for a couple of hours, but once a week. And usually I try to avoid it unless it's something really that I really want to do or something that is really important, right? That's it. When I go to the store, I know exactly what I'm going to buy. I'm not thinking about whether I should buy this brand or that brand. No, I'm good enough. Right? I'm saving my decisions for something more important. So simplify your decisions everywhere. Shopping, online shopping for books or other stuff, once a week. That's it. Saves you money, saves you brain power. The rest of the time, I just don't buy stuff. Just see where you can simplify those decisions and eliminate those decisions so you have more brain power available, maybe on your side gig, on your side business, or just available more mental power to think about your life in a bigger way, as a bigger picture, right? And unplanned stuff besides the daily, day-to-day things you gotta do on your to-do list. Unlock your mental capacity by eliminating unnecessary decisions that at the end of the day don't really freaking matter. Number 2, high energy lifestyle, mental side. No multitasking. Federica Fabricius, she is a neuroscientist. She wrote a couple amazing books on brain-friendly workplaces, if I were to summarize it. But in general, her work is about optimizing your environment and your workflow to unlock your mental performance and your talents. And in one of her books, she presented this study that there is research that shows when people multitask, they on average make 50% more mistakes, and it takes them 50% more time to accomplish the task. And by multitasking, we mean things like, or let me check my social media, or let me check my email, let me perhaps check out this website or this newsletter or something else. All of these things that you take your attention every 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, your brain spends more resources on task switching. Like there is a separate process that requires more resources compared to when you just unitask and work on one task. The second thing, they estimated that to get to the same kind of focus and flow that you were in before, let's say, interruption, it would take another 20 minutes to get to the deeper insights that your brain can produce. And if you never get into that state beyond 15, 20 minutes, you never get to your deeper insights and better ideas and the greatness that your work could be. So multitasking kills your potential and your talents. And also, at the end of the day, because of all this accumulated task switching that requires more resources, you're going to have literally less mental energy of your nervous system to think about other things. You will start simplifying your food choices, going for the first thing that pops up on your, delivery app. You're gonna consume more media that doesn't require any thinking, like, hours of Netflix. You're gonna be scrolling your social media instead of learning languages. All of that happens because all of the task switching that you do during the day. So you really have to set up the timer, work on one thing at a time. And when it comes to social media, checking your email, etc., schedule time for that and stick with that. An extra tip for extra productivity, put your phone somewhere else where you don't see it and it's harder to reach. Research shows that when your phone is in the proximity and you can see it, it requires more resources for you to work on the same task. It just somehow your brain knows there is your phone and your brain is paying attention to that because it's a source of so much information, stimulation, social interactions, etc. So your phone has, and it also like this trigger of picking up your phone and checking if there is something new. So put your phone away and stop multitasking. And from multitasking or unitasking to unitasking and abandoning multitasking on steroids and Tim Ferriss, we're talking about batching things. So I'm not that great at it, and now I have to get better at it because there are so many things on my plate that I need to start managing in my business and building up this completely new thing that I need to start optimizing my time so I'm more effective with everything I do. And so Tim Ferriss, he is the king of batching and unitasking. So his recommendation was always take certain tasks that you do, like podcasting or writing for team, and schedule them for the same time, for the same day. So for example, Tuesday is going to be writing day, or Monday is going to be podcasting, like maybe producing podcast. Wednesday is doing the interviews. Thursday, maybe email. Or maybe email is an hour, special hour every single day, and then you don't check your emails. So batch those things And that will allow your brain to do the same activity, even though, you might be checking several emails during that hour, but it's still the same activity, and your brain gets more effective with the task the longer you do it. So if you dedicate the whole day to podcast producing, for example, you're going to get so much more effective because you're going to be doing the same task and you're going to be in the flow of that task, and your brain will be bringing you insights for that. And then you're done, and you're next day on to the next thing that you again going to be working on only one thing, during which your brain going to get more effective, use less resources, and you're going to have more resources available for living your life. So batching things and days and tasks for certain periods of time, for certain days, that will allow you to get more effective with getting more things done with less time, feeling like you actually did less. So for me, from now on, for example, Thursday is going to be my event day, when I'm going to be doing my mentoring, when I'm going to be doing my webinars, when I'm going in the future, going to be doing my masterminds and master classes. So Thursday, it might, at some point become 2 days as I get more people. Friday is going to be content creation. So I'm going to set up the theme for the next week. I'm going to create the longer content that I will cut into shorter pieces, from which I'm going to do tweets and blogs, etc. So it's going to be big making and planning content day that will make content creation, and all of the other days just a little maintenance task. Tuesday is my writing days. Monday is my big podcasting days. Wednesday is my interviewing days. So the reason why I need to do that is because I need to do more stuff with the same amount of time. And I also want to live my life and do extra things like learning languages and doing reading and learning, research, etc. And so I need to really rethink all of my routines to make myself more efficient until I get more people who maybe not that efficient, but will eliminate the task completely. So that is it. 3 aspects of your workflow and the way you think, the way you make decisions, that will give you back that mental energy that then you can put into enjoying hobbies, learning new languages, perhaps interacting with your kids and studying, learning with them, perhaps starting a side gig. So number 1, eliminate all the unnecessary decisions that don't matter. Make all decisions in advance and stick with it. No multitasking, unitask to be more productive and effective, and avoid the extra cost for your nervous system that happens when you task switch. And then unitasking on steroids with SteamFirst, batch tasks into longer time blocks and even days to really get efficient with getting things done with less time, and also having more mental resources available to enjoy life and get extra stuff done. And on the physical side, sleep, nutrition, and 30 minutes fitness breaks. And that's it, folks. So this is the foundation of your high energy lifestyle, from the physical perspective to mental perspective. Once you put these into practice, and I recommend taking them one by one, starting small, introducing them into your routine and practicing them for a week, and then adding on top. And that's how you build habits by science and make these things habitual, so they save you time and don't require additional thinking. Like, take one at a time and start working on them during 1 week. And by the week 2 or 3, you will start noticing, like, all of a sudden there is time and space and energy in your day, and you're starting thinking and considering and ideating about different possibilities that you haven't thought about before. And that's because when you create time and space and energy, your brain has that, and it's always thinking, okay, how can I advance? But if you're just drowning in day-to-day to-do list, and all you have the capacity at the end of the day is to watch Netflix and eat some food and fall asleep, and then start it all over again, and on the weekends and just taking care of errands and maybe some crazy partying that only takes energy, you'll never get to bigger picture, your best ideas, your best talents, your best insights, something that can make your life and the world around you because of your contribution extraordinary. So this is why it matters, folks. So high energy lifestyle. If you have any questions, please reach out, Angela at brainbreakthroughcoach.com. And also, of course, don't forget to share this with a lot more people, folks. Share it in your Instagram stories, in tweets. Like us on any podcast platform where you find this podcast, but also share. So we all, as humanity, develop better practices and build tools for all of us to do that automatically. And that's how we build a better world together. So share, guys. Appreciate your time, attention. So start spending your energy wisely and make more of it to do extraordinary things in life. And till next time, build up that energy reserve, folks, and have a lot of energy.